Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Well, Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO, put out a rather attention-grabbing tweet just about 3 hours ago. And it reads as follows, and then I'm going to get into the specifics because crypto media is already all over this. And here's what he wrote. Energy consumption for Bitcoin and Ethereum mining is a massive waste, and there's no incentive to take responsibility for the carbon footprint. Absolutely mind-blowing. He's a little brain explode emoji, so I use the word mind-blowing, but brain explode. Absolutely brain explode. I like that more. That this isn't high on the agenda for the growing climate crisis. And whatever you think about climate change, global warming, which, look, I'm not going to touch that with a 10-volt pole. Like, I'm not going to get anything divisive like religion or politics. But still, whatever you think on that, this is attention-grabbing nonetheless here. So I'm going to run through that. There was also an article that came out today, caught my attention, and it led to word that Libra is no longer going to be launching their token. The Libra Association, no more Libra token. I've got some news for you on that, so I want to talk about that. But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And if you're a fan of hearing from Brad Garlinghouse via Twitter, which only happens every so often, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel because you know I'm going to be covering everything coming out that's Ripple and XRP and Brad Garlinghouse related here. I'm putting out content on a daily basis, damn it, because it's a fun hobby. All right, first here, I do want to give a shout-out to Susie Kusia. It's probably Kusia. I'm sorry, I'm butchering that. I'd like to hear it enunciate. I don't know how to pronounce this. But anyway, Susie Kusia wrote the following. My list of my favorite crypto YouTubers. My daily go-to for crypto knowledge, support, and belonging to a crypto family. These guys are always positive and consistent. Who are yours? And she wrote, Mr. Level Up, Blockchain Backer, Crypto Mike, The Bearable Bull, Cashflow Nexus, Moon Lambo, whoop whoop, and Dusty. So anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to Susie. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate all the support. And also, Stone Hodl XRP responded to that and tagged me. So thank you to Stone Hodl XRP as well. I appreciate it. All right, so again, let's go ahead and jump into this piece. Now, the actual piece from telegraph.co.uk, it's hiding behind a paywall, so can't particularly cover that. Oh, Coil, I wish that you were up and running the world over so that I wouldn't have to deal with this. We could just stream a little bit of money in real time and just pay $5 a month, which is what you're currently charging. That would be super duper, but alas, we're not quite there yet. So, we're going to run through this piece from Crypto Slate titled, Ripple CEO is up in arms over Bitcoin and Ethereum. Here's why. One key aspect that makes Bitcoin different from fiat currencies is that it is mined. Those that want to mint Bitcoin must put computational power to work and spend electricity to do so, which comes in stark contrast to fiat money, which can be infinitely printed and without much, quote, work. Okay? Although many say this is what makes this mining... did I read that wrong? Maybe it's a broken sentence. Although many say this is what makes this mining is what... Yeah, it's a broken sentence because it's crypto media. I didn't catch that earlier. I'm going to read it as it's written here. Although many say this is what makes this mining is what imbues Bitcoin with much of its fundamental value over fiat, an industry executive has recently come out against mining, calling it a crucial factor in the growing climate crisis here. It's no secret that Bitcoin isn't the most popular asset. Many economists and technologists around the world are highly skeptical of the cryptocurrency for many reasons. One of the oft-cited reasons is it is killing the earth. And by the way, I'm wondering, so what's going to happen when all the Bitcoin's been mined? What's that going to look like? I'm not sure that people in the Bitcoin community really know. In fact, I remember seeing Matty Greenspan. He was posed that question. He seemed to be pretty anti-Ripple and anti-XRP, but he was posed the question, so what happens when the final Bitcoin has been mined? And he says, well, that won't happen for over 100 years, so we've got plenty of time to figure it out. That's essentially what he said. That's the best answer I've ever heard from anybody, so I don't even know what that's going to look like here. But anyway, Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple Labs, recently weighed in on this debate, supporting the critics that say Bitcoin and Ethereum's energy consumption through mining is a massive waste. He elaborated, quote, "There's no incentive to take responsibility for the carbon footprint of crypto mining. Absolutely mind-blowing that this isn't high on the agenda for the growing climate crisis." And so that was part of the tweet that I read to you just at the beginning of the video. I made this comment in reference to an article from The Telegraph, which suggests that a single Bitcoin transaction is the same as 780,650 Visa transactions, per data from PwC. Although the numbers seem to back Garlinghouse's assertion, many have pushed back against the sentiment. For instance, legendary Bitcoin proponent and educator Andreas Antonopoulos wrote in 2016 that holiday lights surrounding the trees and homes of millions across the globe use more energy in a week than entire small nations, before rhetorically asking, who's wasteful? Yeah, okay, here's the thing, though, and I've heard that argument before. It's not that you shouldn't have any enjoyment in life, and obviously that's a seasonal thing. All sorts of people like to celebrate with Christmas lights. But with Bitcoin, it's a little bit different because you can utilize blockchain technology without this tremendous waste. That's the point. Can you have the Christmas lights without the waste? So it's not like, you can give it up. You don't have to give, maybe with the lights, okay, fine. To whatever degree it's using energy super duper. But to me, it's like apples and oranges here. It really is. Just use a cryptocurrency that doesn't rely on mining, and you're fine. And you can still have a very secure network. In fact, XRP Ledger is more decentralized than the Bitcoin blockchain. So there you go. Then the piece continues. Not to mention, a 2019 report from crypto fund manager CoinShares found that 77.6% of all Bitcoin mining is powered by renewable energy sources, especially hydroelectricity in places like China's Sichuan region, I'm sure I'm butchering that one, the west coast of the United States, and Canada. Now, I've heard this argument brought up before, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't heard a great retort to the negative on that side. Some have pointed out that, okay, it's renewable, but it's still a waste, and I say, okay, but it's not like that is conceptually harming the environment. It's still wasteful, but that's about as deep a critique of that I've found. So if anybody has anything interesting, because I love to hear back and forth on points like this, because this is not something that I have an absolutely firm opinion on. I still think it's an absolute waste and stupid. So I do lean on that side. But as far as the whole aspect of this being renewable, I'm not absolutely firm on that. So if you've got some thoughts, feel free to drop a comment below, or any other sources that you think would be worth taking a look at, or something I should share with the Moon Lambo audience here. Just let me know. Then the piece continues. Garlinghouse's latest critique of crypto asset mining comes just weeks after he said that China controls the Bitcoin blockchain, before elaborating that there are 4 miners in China that represent 60% or more of total mining capacity for Bitcoin, and 80% of the mining capacity for both Bitcoin and Ethereum is based in China. And then they do have this subheading, and it's good that they acknowledge this part too, because to me, Brad approaches this kind of like how I do. It's not that I hate Bitcoin. It's just acknowledging facts. I'm just acknowledging facts in terms of the wasteful nature, in terms of resources getting spent on mining, in terms just from a technological perspective, how slow the blockchain is, all that good stuff. It's very costly. And so it's not like I hate it. And Brad Garlinghouse has actually stated he's long Bitcoin despite all of this. I'm kind of like shrugging my shoulders going, I don't know. For Bitcoin, is it really truly going to have staying power if you fast forward decades? I don't know, because I'm just not seeing enough utility there. But anyway, despite Garlinghouse's skepticism regarding Bitcoin mining, he remains a fervent believer in the godfather of cryptocurrency, so to say. Speaking to the Wall Street Journal during the 2020's World Economic Forum in Davos, the fintech entrepreneur remarked that he is bullish on Bitcoin as a store of value. And I kind of differ again from Brad Garlinghouse there, and maybe Brad will end up being proven to be right. But I am skeptical. I am not bullish on it. I'm not saying it's not going to be the case. I'm saying I'm not confident that it will be, so I can't consider myself a bull on that. But there we are. All right, next, take a look at this. This is cool, and I don't have much on this, but I did want to mention this. There'll probably be articles about it tomorrow, I'm guessing, so I can talk about it a little bit more if there are more details. But there is a tweet I came across in my feed on Twitter from XThinker and wrote this. And it does go to a coin post, but it's not in English, so not going to be able to cover it other than what's included in this tweet video wrote. Ripple to post advertisement on one of Japan's largest media outlets, Nikkei. Details of specific use case scenarios of XRP will be depicted on this advertisement. This is pretty big, guys. Now, that's fascinating because Ripple, I always thought if they've got a reason, I would just love to know what it is. XRP is to be used behind the scenes, so if you're talking about retailing to your typical consumers or anything along those lines, I don't really understand why. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but if there's a good case to be made, I'm just legitimately curious. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm saying I don't know why it would make sense, which is very different. So, interesting nonetheless. I also thought it was interesting when Ripple put out that ad that was consumer facing, so they got to have some reason. I just don't know what it is. Where they put out an ad, and you may recall that they were sending. They were moving money around the planet. Somebody was like in space, and it was kind of silly. They were floating around. I can't remember how long ago that was. Probably like 4, 5, 6 months ago. And I highlighted it at the time when it happened. Everybody was talking about it. It was kind of an interesting article. Or not article, advertisement, video advertisement. But we'll see. All right, next. Take a look at this here. I got this from oneway_XRP. I just came across it in my Twitter feed here. And a link to an article from The Verge. And so here's what OneWayXRP wrote. Facebook is shifting its Libra cryptocurrency plans after intense regulatory pressure. Facebook will no longer promote its own digital currency and instead use existing ones. Now, that was interesting because, of course, Libra was being positioned as the XRP killer by, Bitcoin maxi types and some in mainstream media even citing how is XRP going to be able to be used as a bridge currency. And of course, they don't understand the fundamental reasons. I don't really want to run through them, but it comes down to trust. And if there's a cryptocurrency that's centralized, it can't fundamentally do the same things as the cryptocurrency that is sufficiently decentralized. And there's more to it than that. And so it was always a bogus argument anyway. But then I saw this. So wait, Libra is not going to come forward. Is this true? Well, this article says yes, but hold on. There's more to it. So I'll read the beginning part here. According to the report, Facebook no longer intends to make the Libra token the actual blockchain-based cryptocurrency it's in the process of developing in partnership with the nonprofit Libra Association, the centerpiece of its digital payment strategy. Instead, Facebook's Libra project will reportedly transition to supporting both existing government-backed currencies like the US dollar and the euro, and the Libra token when it is eventually completed and ready to launch. And so it was kind of misleading. So this got moved around. So it's not the case that Libra, they're not saying that it's absolutely getting ditched. And so I don't like the way that they initially worded that because I did see some of this going around Twitter. Here's the BBC talking about it, and I think that this was a bit more accurate of a headline. Facebook rethinks plans for Libra cryptocurrency. And so if it's being put on hold a little bit, super duper, and they're working with other mainstream fiat currencies in some degree, or if they're becoming digital versions of that, then that's fine. But I did want to at least cite this today since I saw this going around a bit. And also, again, it's just interesting to me as an XRP community member because, again, Libra's the XRP killer. So I am always curious on developments around that. But anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for stopping by, my friends. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!